Hi, welcome to the part 14 of this series where we are covering Easy 304 important exam questions. Please subscribe to my channel. For questions 1 to 90, please refer parts 1 to 13 of this video series. Let's look at this question now. So, what is the story? So, the story is I'll explain it in terms of a story. Suppose you are a developer, you have developed VMs, you have put VMs, you have developed data factory jobs, etc. And now you want to do a deployment. So you are planning the resource deployment. For that, like I told you, nowadays doing a manual deployment is out of fashion. Everybody uses a ARM template, that is a Azure Resource Manager template, that is infrastructure as a code. So everybody currently does infrastructure as a code. Just create a template, whatever is there in dev, whatever you want to move, deploy it to UAT or production, you put it in the ARM template and it will get deployed. Okay, now what's happening is there is one tricky thing here. They are using Azure Key Vault to store secrets. Okay, you have other resources like I explained, VM, Data Factory jobs, Azure SQL Server, Synapse Analytics, Power BI, so on. But there is also a Azure Key Vault where you are storing the secrets. So the requirement of this use case is the IT staff who will perform the deployment, even though it is done by ARM, the person who is going to create this template, okay, they should not be able to retrieve the secrets from the key vault just because they are doing that deployment. You should not give them extra access that they can see the secrets. The other thing is you should use the principle of least privilege. Least privilege, like I explained in my earlier videos. Suppose if a client comes for a visit, the client is Geico. Some executives, they came from US for a visit, and suppose you are working for Wipro. Now the client briefing center is in the ninth floor. So you should give this client access only to enter the main building and the ninth floor. Now in each floor there is a access system. You should not give. So we use least privilege principle. Uh, uh, so similar to what I explained, uh, so you are just giving the access to the client only for the flow that is required, that is least privilege. So in this case, the person who is doing the deployment and he is going to create the Azure Resource Manager template, why should you give him access that he can see the secrets? We should give least privilege. He can only deploy, he cannot retrieve the secrets. Now we have to choose two actions. You see these two actions. So let's see. The first one, create a key vault access policy that allows all get key permission, get secret permissions, and get certificate. Why would you do that? It is giving you everyone every access. So option A is totally violating the principle of least privilege. This option it is violating. So because this is not, option A is not least privilege. It is the principle of maximum privilege. They are giving everyone all access. It is completely wrong. Option B, from access policies in Key Vault, enable access to ARM manager for template deployment. See, Azure Resource Manager, this is the deployment and management service for Azure. It gives you a layer that enables you to create, update, and delete resources. So that is good because the Key Vault, you give access policy through a resource manager. You don't give it to the IT staff directly. So this is helping you fulfill this request, prevent the IT staff that will perform the deployment from retrieving secrets. This will help you there. So B is right. We got our first answer. We have to choose two actions. Two actions. C says you create a policy that allows all key permissions, list secret permissions and list certificate permissions. Why would you do that? Again, it is violating principle of least privilege. It is giving everyone all privileges. So C is wrong. D is saying assign the IT staff a custom role. Okay, that is good. You give him a custom role that will include key vault deploy action. So he can only deploy. He cannot see or he cannot retrieve the secrets. You see this? The option D is helping you with this requirement. Prevent IT staff from retrieving the secrets directly from Key Vault. So D is correct. Let's see option E. Option E says assign the Key Vault contributor role to IT staff. See, contributor role, if you want management plane operations to be performed, then you need this. Management plane refers to all resource manager operations for storage. So this includes creating and managing storage accounts and account keys. These are management plane operations. Deployment is not a management plane operation. That's why contributor role is of no use. You want deploy action permission. You don't want contributor role. What will you do with contributor role? Because you cannot use it for deployment. So E is wrong. So these are the two answers. Now let's look at this question. See, suppose you are in the organization and every 6 weeks, suppose you are a part of agile project where every 6 weeks they do a deployment to production. Okay, that's a sprint size. Now this has been happening. The project has been running for 4 months, last 4 months, and you have say 2 or 3 releases. Now someone wants to generate a solution, I mean to create a solution to generate a monthly report of all the Azure Resource Manager resource deployments that was done in your subscription. That is the report we want to know. So what should you include in the recommendation? Like we see option A, advisor. So this gives you security recommendations to improve the security posture of your organization. For example, it would give you a recommendation that people who are accessing these apps from uh, countries which are outside USA, you should enable MFA. Just a hypothetical example. So such recommendations will come from advisor. It is not useful for this purpose. Now Azure monitor metrics. So see, monitor Azure monitor, why do you use this? To monitor the resources. VM is one of the resource, such resources if you want to monitor, and you want to monitor the metrics. So these metrics, no, for example, CPU, like or the uh, s- compute, storage, etc., that you want to monitor. So these are the metrics. These metrics are stored in a time series database for further analysis. So in this case, monitor metrics will not help you with generating this report for deployments. Monitor metrics is just useful if you want to monitor the resource, and then based, suppose the CPU utilization is 80% and you decide that a scale set should be spawned for the VM. So two more VMs will be created for that purpose. Also, suppose you want to know which day, sorry, which hour of the day you the metrics is high with respect to CPU utilization or compute utilization, which day or which hour of the day this metric is high, then you can use this. Here it is of no use in this question. Now let's have a look at monitor action groups. Now monitor action groups, what actions, each action is made up of type the notification or action to be performed. For example, you want to send a voice message or SMS or email, and then you have unique identifier within the action group and details. So why do we use action groups is it is actually a collection of notification preferences. For example, if such and such metrics is defaulted, or if the threshold is exceeded, you want these preferences to be used to send emails to certain people. So the preference can be SMS can be a preference, or voicemail can be a preference. If there is a priority one sort of failure, then uh, voice call is preferred instead of email, so that people can respond immediately. This will not help you with generating monthly report or understand what has been deployed. It will not help you. This leaves us with one option, and this seems to be the answer: log analytics. So if you see log analytics, here it is able to understand the log data schema. You can run simple queries. So you will have a set of data sets coming from the deployments that you have done via ARM. You can fire or run simple queries and do this task. This can be used to generate a monthly report. You can write queries and scripts to generate monthly report and then see what has been deployed in your subscriptions. So this is the right answer. We will move forward. Let's look at this question. First, try to understand the story and identify the keywords. Basically, the question is you want to improve the performance of database DB1. You want to improve that. Out of these many options, the thumb rule I will say, whenever it gives you so many options and asks to improve the performance, the automatic answer is automatic tuning. Automatic tuning, you don't have to do anything. It will automatically improve the performance of the database. That is my answer. But let's scan through other options. Option B, Azure Advisor, it gives you security related recommendations. It is, for example, for certain regions you want to generate MFAs. That is something which it will help you with. So Advisor will not fit here. It is wrong. Let's see option C. Azure Monitor, it is used for monitoring purposes. You have resources and you want to monitor the CPU usage, compute, etc., etc. You can do that. Here there is no requirement of monitoring, because we are not going to monitor and then create scripts to understand the performance or tune the performance. We will not do it. So that is wrong. Now let's see query performance inside. This gives you long running queries and top resource consuming. So whichever resources are consuming the maximum resources, it will give you those, and long running queries. If you have databases and a lot of queries are running and for a long time, it will give you those sort of queries. But it will not automatically tune your database. You will have to tune it yourself. It will only give you insights, but you have to tune it. That's why this is not well suited. Automatic tuning is better than option D. If you see this documentation, it clearly says for SQL database and managed SQL database instance, automatic tuning performs or provides peak performance and stable workloads. Now, how it is doing it? It is using a AI and some machine learning based algorithms, and it is constantly tuning your performance based on the previous statistics. That is how it works. So you can read this when you have time, what it can do automatically. This is something as a homework. So this is the final answer. We will move forward. Now this question, the story basically says that you have a subscription and you have 300 virtual machines inside the subscription. So that is just the story. Try to understand what are we supposed to answer here. You want a central monitoring system for all warning events in the system logs of virtual machines. These system logs are on Windows servers, not Linux servers. Okay, so accordingly we have to answer. So what should we do? Resource to create in Azure. Which resources to create in Azure? Let's scan through the options. An event hub, we do not use an event hub in this scenario. It is event hub is used when the constantly data is coming from some IoT systems and you're streaming and you have to capture it somewhere, maybe a database or some sort of mechanism. You need to put Azure functions or something to process that data. So event hub is not used for such kind of requirements, so that is wrong. Let's look at storage account. Storage account will not help you with this. You want to centrally monitor to the store. You don't want to store the logs, you want to monitor also. So that's why storage account is totally wrong. Let's look at search service. So it is called cognitive search, and it is used to provide you some Google sort of search for your web pages and mobile applications. So that is not the purpose of this use case. Now that leaves us with log analytics workspace. This is something which we definitely use. We scan through the logs, we write queries through the logs so that we can understand what's going on. So this is something which is a right answer, log analytics workspace. So what is a log analytics workspace? It is a unique environment for Azure Monitor log data. It will monitor the log data. So these are the scenarios where it is useful to collect the data. You can read it in your leisure time. So we got our first answer. Let's look at the second configuration to perform on virtual machine. So since it's a Windows based platform, we will require to install Microsoft Monitoring Agent. That is something which is important. We don't do event subscriptions because this is not required. This is required usually on Linux systems, not on Windows systems. So that's why this is wrong. Let's look at configure continuous delivery. This is required if you are building a CI/CD pipeline. Here it is of no requirement. See, event log data group, why it is used? This is why it is used. This is a group created when you promote a Windows server system to the role of domain control. This is not linked to our question at all. So our question for this question, we have this answer: install Microsoft Monitoring Agent. So where do we install this? This is installed and configured on data collection machines. So whatever, in this case 300 virtual machines, we will install it there because from there we need to collect the data. That is point number one. The second point is it must be installed on Log Analytics Gateway also if you're deploying that scenario. Okay. So these two are our final answers. Let's move to the next question. So this is a question, try to identify the keywords and understand the story. See, in this question, the keyword for me is service manager because this is a service manager. The answer should be ITSM because this is the one which provides you service management. This is common sense. These other stuff will not provide you service management. Event hubs, why it is used is it is a middleware, and when you have streaming data coming from IoT or other devices and you want to capture it in a database or perform some Azure functions analysis, then you use event hubs. In this question, we are talking about service manager. That's why option B is wrong. Let's look at option C. Azure notification hubs, what is this used for? This is a usage. It is used to send push notifications to any platform from any backend. For example, during the pandemic, you were getting a lot of SMS. If this has to be done across the population of 1 billion, etc., how will you do it? This is the tool that is meant for that. Azure Notification Hubs is massively scalable mobile push notification engine, and you can send millions to millions of subscribers notifications on iOS, Android, etc., etc., all these platforms. So that is a very different purpose, not used for service manager. That's why C is wrong. Let's look at option D, application insights connector. So this is used. It will help you. It is an extensible analytics service. It will help you to understand the performance and usage of live web applications. Do you have a web application in this question? No. We do not have a web application in this question. We are talking about service management, and hence D is wrong. This is the final answer, and we will move forward. This brings us to the end of part 14 of this video series. I will see you in the next part. Meantime, please subscribe to my channel and like my videos. If you have any constructive comments or any word of appreciation, please drop in your comments. Thank you.